Hello, dear listeners. Welcome to what is going to be a fantastic and wonderful interview, I am sure, with my good friend and colleague, Maggie Gelin. Maggie, thank you for being here today to share with us all that you know, to share your loveliness, and to share all of your insights on topics like creativity, confidence, and how to use your voice for stress reduction. We've already planned a great interview for you, but we're also planning to have a great conversation that is a little bit free flowing. So here we go. Maggie, welcome to the show. Well, you are a beautiful woman inside and out. Please let us know a little bit more about you and what thrills you. Beautiful. So I have, of course, curiosity about all of these topics. And then I thought the shortest, quickest way to get my curiosity satisfied is to ask you what your own journey has been with unleashing your confidence and your message and your passion, and what kind of roadblocks were there in the past? I love this reflection about the natural born talent and the trained talent, because I don't think I've this topic has not come up in my podcast interviews before, and we've talked about a lot of things on this show, and I love this, and for me, it makes me think about the fact that you just knew how to use your natural skills and your talents are also in the realm of self-discipline and practice and learning and not giving up. I recently gave feedback to Maggie that I see her as this master learner. She we go to conferences together and she is just absorbing the information and integrating it on the spot and unafraid to ask the curiosity questions that come up for her. So I wanted to just stop here and mention those things because these are Maggie's gifts too. Not just her love of singing and her talent for singing, but also just her ability to use her natural gifts to get herself what she loves and what she wants in life. And I think that's a beautiful lesson for our listeners. So thank you for sharing that. Yes, I absolutely agree. As someone who was stuck in procrastination for decades of my life, I completely agree. Okay, before we move on to the other topics, I want to stick with your own personal journey, if you don't mind. And let me ask you, were there moments where you felt that you had either a voice block or an anxiety block or a volume block? I don't know the kind of resistance that singers face, but I would love to hear from you. What along the way did you have to work through aside from the training piece, just the personal piece? Truly liberating. I think that's one of the definitions of liberation is to not feel like you have to compare yourself to the people around you who are struggling in their own way, that we may not even be able to see or hear. So, thank you. That's a beautiful story, and I'm glad you were able to sing with the groups that you wanted to sing, and also that you've been able to work through that journey of deciding, "I am good enough," I think, broadly speaking, not just with your voice, but just within yourself. And then that takes you to the journey of how can I stay in good alignment with what my body, my mind, my energy, my life needs. And that's a beautiful path to be on. Mhm. Listeners, I told you Maggie was beautiful. And she's also about to make me cry. I love these stories. They're so beautiful. They're really beautiful stories. So thank you for sharing them. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you had that epiphany through that surgery as well. I think you're teaching us so much. Let's see, where should we go next? Let's go to feelings because I think that's where my mind and heart are taking me with the topics here. And how does the voice and how we use our voice either block our feelings or help them to be expressed and felt? Beautiful. So you've seen your students as they progress in their studies and their experimentation with their voice, that they become more connected with their feelings at the same time? Beautiful. I think you said a few minutes ago you're not a therapist, but I have a feeling you are a very good therapist, so thank you. And I love that your love for your work really comes through as well, which is wonderful. Now let's talk about, the childlike curiosity, because I would just love to hear how you maintain that, because I think there's an openness there that sometimes, like you mentioned, we get trained out of that openness and we have to act a certain way. We have to act formally. We have to sing perfectly. We have to be just like the other person next to us. How do you retain just that openness and the feeling that, wow, I could just explore in any way that I choose? And those hormones boost our performance. I absolutely 100% agree with Maggie, by the way, if anybody is wondering. And I too try to seek avenues of fun, creativity, things that might open my eyes to something new, because novelty, I think, has a way of bringing us joy and that new spark of things. And I think when I think about the voice, I think about the cost of keeping our voice small, quiet, silenced. We're missing out on the person's energy and their message and their liveliness and their childlikeness, and that's a big cost. That's a big cost of staying small and staying quiet when you really have so much more to share. Absolutely. So for the non-singers who are listening to us, what advice would you give them for nurturing their stronger, more powerful, more aligned voice. I love it. I love it. And thank you for sharing that early situation that impacted you. I think that there's a real pressure that comes with experiencing limiting beliefs and an idea that there's limited space or limited volume or limited experimentation that can be done when really the reality is the sky's the limit. There's no limit. There's no limit to what we can do and what where we can take ourselves if we allow ourselves. That's the trick, is that if we're not feeling safe enough, nobody's going anywhere. And that's of course our journey as adults to work through, how do I get myself to be free enough to access everything that I have access to. I 100% agree. Maggie, you and I need to develop some sort of course together. And or we need to keep going, training our people and just doing the work on ourselves. This is what we do. So Maggie, thank you so much for teaching us so many deep, beautiful lessons today. Could you let us know anything else you would want us to know before we sign off, and also how people can stay in touch with you? Thank you. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Maggie, for that free gift for our listeners. I think I'll use that freebie before my podcast interviews. I have a feeling that it will be very helpful there. Okay, great. And the URL for our listeners is maketimeforsuccess.com/warmup, WARMUP. And thank you, Maggie, for that beautiful share there too. Thank you, Maggie. This has been beautiful, like I anticipated. You are so wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and your work. It is all so wonderful. All right, everyone, there's a wrap for us, and we're going to take these lessons into the forest and we're going to experiment with our voice. And I will see you next Thursday when the next episode drops. Take care.